It is both an honor and a privilege for me to say a few words on the occasion of the 100-year celebration of the Colombo Rubber Traders Association in Colombo, Sri Lanka. My association with the CRTA started as a young and reckless 18-year-old when a friend of my father, Mr. Sri offered me a job as a trainee junior executive at John Keel's Holdings Limited, a premier brokering house in Colombo. I went to work for John Keel's in May of 1981 and reported to Ausha Gunasekara. The other trainee who started with me was Richard Jans, and he is the chairman of the 100-year celebrations. At that time, I was the youngest auctioneer on the rostrum, as I was selling at the Colombo Rubber auctions well ahead of turning 19. I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the late Mr. Sri who taught me to grade rubber, and Ausha Gunasekara, my first boss, who taught me to grade cardamoms, cloves, cinnamon, cocoa, coffee, and pepper. The list was endless, but Ausha's specialty was cinnamon, as he hailed from cinnamon-growing area of Ambalangara. I've come to appreciate that the Ceylon cinnamon is the best in the world and has many nutritional and medicinal value. Having worked for 4 years in the rubber and produce brokering trade, I left Sri Lanka at the age of 22 to pursue higher studies in the US. During my time in the rubber trade, I got to visit many rubber estates with our manufacturing advisors in Alex Fernando and Jayalal Mendes. I learned a lot from these gentlemen who were ex-planters and knew their rubber. I enjoyed selling 3 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for rubber and Wednesdays for sundry produce at the auction. Most days my prices were the highest for crepes, which I enjoyed selling the most. I thought when I left Sri Lanka my association with rubber had come to an end. However, all along my career in North America, working in manufacturing operations, global sourcing and supplier development, I've had a lot to do with rubber. The automotive and mobile construction and aerospace marketplaces use natural and elastomeric rubber materials in their applications. I've had the good fortune to qualify rubber molders globally in Taiwan, South Korea, China, India, Europe, US, and Canada. I would like to highlight 3 things about me and my continued association with rubber. In 2000, I went to work as a consultant to a leader in seal technology in the mobile construction marketplace. They had an internal exam that they made all of their sales and application engineers pass. As they were my largest client, I decided to take the test to improve my own know-how in this area. On the first go, I got the lowest score in the history of the company. So much so, the client felt so bad for me and told me I did not have to pursue this or do it again. But I was determined and went in on Saturdays for months and had their chemist and chief rubber technologist teach me. I eventually passed the first part with 100% and the second part with a high C. As a young executive at John Keel's, one of my main jobs every Saturday was to write the World Market Report. We would comment on the New York, London, Singapore, and Colombo markets, and one of the main factors week in and week out on rubber world market prices was the buffer stock manager, or the BSM as this position was referred to. I also learned that natural rubber, like gold prices, would be affected by wars and rumors of wars. An interesting factoid is that natural rubber is considered a strategic material and is stockpiled by the US and Europe in case war broke out. The reason is that conventional warfare is conducted in wheeled vehicles, such as tanks, planes, and ships have many rubber applications. A few years ago, I was attending a Department of Defense conference and ran into the Director of Strategic Materials. It is the new name for the buffer stock manager. I followed the Director of Strategic Materials around like a celebrity and asked him to pose for a picture with me, which he did. He was wondering why I was so excited to meet him, as he was an ordinary bureaucrat. But for me, he was special, as I had written about his function every Saturday for 4 years. The company I started 11 years ago has rubber and elastomeric parts on land, sea, and air applications for the U.S. Department of Defense, and together with the manufacturing company I just acquired, have many special compounds developed for safety and mission-critical applications for the U.S. DoD, including the most powerful weapon system known to man, the F-35. In closing, I also use both my association with rubber and my understanding of its properties when I teach resiliency to young people. Rubber is an awesome sealing material due to its rebound resiliency or short-term memory. This property is that it acts like a spring. It comes right back when it's pushed down or squeezed, very different to a material that conforms like Teflon, which is not a good seal material. I use this example to teach young people that we need to act like rubber, to come back when we are pressed down, fall, fail, and on your feet like a cat and be ready for the next move. As you can see, rubber has been a big part of my life for almost a lifetime, a journey that started in Colombo, Sri Lanka with the CRTA. I wish the CRTA and its members great and continued success for another 100 years of creating value and resiliency for the world. God bless you.